Welcome one more time to this southern loop of the Backpedal Sportif. Now, I know what you're thinking, you're bored of watching videos from here, and that I completely understand. So I promise this will be the last one, but I just wanted to do the loop justice when it isn't snowing and absolutely miserable. You joined me from the beautiful, sunny Snowdonia. It is a bit cold this morning. Being spring, you get these cold mornings and quite warm afternoons. Here I am at Llyn Trawsfynydd. Got the beautiful power station, nuclear power, but an otherwise stunning lake. Beautiful day. Essentially today the plan is me and my dad are going to do the southern loop that we did as a Backpedal group with maybe a couple extra climbs, see how we're feeling. But the intention is to go out with no grander plan. We are just doing that nice loop. We'll take as long as we want, we'll have all the cafe stops we want, and yeah, it's just to enjoy the day. So hopefully with that introduction out of the way, you'll hear me shouting in the background there that this road's better when it's not snowing, and it certainly is. I didn't really film anything among this road here last time. This is the road that goes via Abergeirw, a place I may or may not believe exists, because I was worried about saving my camera batteries, but it's beautiful, it's absolutely stunning. It's very desolate. It's really pretty. So hopefully you'll like the views as much as I do. This is the one we saw last time, and I tried to shout it to everyone.
Oh yeah.
You can see that shape, it's not buzzard shape.
No.
It looks more like an aircraft, I think. And it's nice and sort of grey, light coloration. That's amazing. So anyone who's into birds of prey, that was a hen harrier. They are critically endangered in the UK. There's a couple that live around this area of Wales. And I get excited every time I see them. They are really hard to spot. It is very rare. So it was exciting, but it didn't come out on camera at all, either time that I saw it. So getting around this road, you can see the views get really expansive. This road basically does 3 crests, where you climb about 100 metres of elevation, then you descend about 100 metres of elevation, and you do that 3 times. And each of the valleys has a slightly different feel and a slightly different view from the first one, that's really expansive moorland. Then you get into this kind of sparse tree line but very windy road, and when we get to the final one, it's actually quite lush forest. They're all really lovely in their own way, but this is the road that we had all of the mechanical issues with along on the Backpedal ride, and it's not a great place to be stopped, to be honest. It's cold in the middle of nowhere, there's no shelter from the conditions, so yeah, it is a shame. So you can see now we're coming into a place called Coed-y-Brenin, which, if you're ever in Snowdonia, is well worth a visit. It's an incredibly well-maintained forestry road, or forestry commission area, that has loads of mountain bike trails, running trails, walking trails. It's really beautiful, and apart from if you park in the visitor centre, it's free. It's fantastic. Now we're descending along a fast river path. I believe this is the River Maelvach before the estuary gets really wide by Bala. And this road is kind of why me and my dad came back, because on the way home from the last meetup, I said to my dad, what was your favourite bit? And he said, honestly, that river road that we descended was beautiful, but we needed to push on down there. Or, well, Nick Brownbill, was telling everyone to push on because I get arsey being too slow. And he said it was hard to enjoy because his head was down just trying to follow the wheels. So I thought it'd be nice for us to come back on a nice day and get to just take it at whatever pace we wanted. You still get to go nice and fast, and it's like this beautiful steep-sided valley that you're on a little ledge of, riding next to a river. And we get to go nice and fast down it. So then I deviated from the Backpedal course a little bit. At the end of that River Valley Road, we went up another climb, and I did that entirely because we needed to get as much elevation in as we could if we wanted to do our challenge ride. But me and my dad just out for the day to have fun. I said, we can just go straight down the hill instead. And it's a prettier road, it's a nicer road, you just don't get your elevation in. So I'm really glad that we got to do both of those things. And here we are, rolling into Dolgellau.
Dolgellau?
Dol's a lovely village, really nice village. It's a bit funny if you go for a drink there on a Friday night, but generally I think it's a really pretty, really nice little town. Problem is, on a Sunday, nothing's bloody open. We just wanted a cup of coffee. Stop in Dol. We are not far through the ride. How far have we gone? 40k? 30k? Yeah. It's a bit early for a coffee stop, but the whole point of today is to do the ride again, except stopping wherever we like. Which didn't quite work out because there's TH Roberts. Closed, unfortunately, because it's Sunday in Dol. But there's saucepan. Very nice, nonetheless. Nice toast. Decent coffee, actually. It's I'm not going to rave about it, but it's perfectly passable. So good. All the big hills left to go. We've achieved basically nothing so far on this ride.
Average 25 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, average speed's okay before we got the Bwlch-y-Groes in.
The views are great.
Yes, nice roads, beautiful day. Oh, Fron Serth next, and then Bwlch-y-Groes, Hirnant Pass, and then Bala for lunch. So freshly fueled with toast and a coffee, we go up Fron Serth, which I always think is funny and no one else thinks it's funny, but it's called Fron Serth, which means straight road in Welsh, and the road isn't particularly straight. And I assume the etymology comes from the fact that there's a road that winds around this mountain, or there's Fron Serth, which goes straight over the mountain. You may not find that funny, but the fact that I found out it is straight up a mountain did tickle me a little bit. It's really pretty when you get to the top. The climb itself doesn't look amazing, but you get out and you can see like Cadair Idris behind me, which is the highest mountain south of Snowdon in the UK. And it's really quite expansive, very nice views. I know I take the piss out of myself for describing everything as nice in Wales, but I do. So at the end of Fron Serth, you come out on the A470. This road is described as the Welsh M1. This is the road from Cardiff to Bangor. That is the northernmost city to the southernmost city. You can see how busy it is compared to like the M1 motorway. You have to be a bit cautious. There are cars going fast and will close pass, but there's not necessarily particularly a large amount of traffic. The best thing about the A470 is the gradient never gets steep, but there are long sweeping climbs and long sweeping descents. So the bit we're about to go down, I probably talked about in my last video, but I've hit, I think it was 87 kilometers an hour down here in the past. On this day, you'll hear a lot about this, but we had a howling headwind, and I really struggled to get over 70 kilometers an hour down this descent, but I tried my best. You can see just how safe it is and how nice it is, and also the views. The mountains feel big. I don't know how to describe that. They just feel imposing, perhaps because it's so expansive. So you'll probably recognise this bit of road. This is the lead in to the Bwlch-y-Groes, the road that goes along the River Mawddwy. I suspect this is called Dyffryn Mawddwy, as in the Mawddwy Valley. I don't know if I'll have timed this overlay quite right, but I whinge about the headwind all the way round. Absolutely insufferable. I won't even do a counter of how many times I complain that it's windy on this ride. So here we are going up Bwlch-y-Groes now. Hopefully I haven't put too much footage of it in, because I think it's been pretty well covered by myself in the past, by Ed in 2 videos, and by Phil in his video, and those guys really know what they're doing with video footage, much better than me. But I didn't want to leave it all out, because look at how beautiful this climb is on a sunny day. It's really stunning, and My God, is it hard to appreciate while you're going up it. I kept trying to remind myself that it's really pretty and this is what you ride your bike for, you know? But when you're on the absolute limit, and this part just now is like the relief you get. And the relief you get involves going over a cattle grid. It's hard to feel in a particularly good place. Those steep-sided mountains, though, with the scree slopes and, yeah, generally leading into the valley. Fantastic. So this is the second highest paved road in England and Wales, I believe. It's not quite as high as Gospel Pass in South Wales, but not far off. What is hard about Bwlch-y-Groes is that you can see this hairpin from the bottom, and it looks like it's directly above you, and my God does it look steep when you're at the bottom. But also, you can see that it's 2 kilometres away of steep. But then, having that little sting in the tail, if you turn that hairpin that looks like it must be the top, and then there's still about 500 metres to go at 11%, it's cruel. My bike handling's all over the place here because you turn a 90-degree left and now I am crosswinding. I'm just absolutely being, like, battered around. But here, look at that view. When we came over this as Backpedal, you couldn't see a thing. It was just a grey cloud, which, yeah, is very hard to take. So, back from my... Dad beat me to the top. My dad's just made a comment that he beats me to the top quite often, which is true. With the talk of Ed's Sacalobra time, by the way, I think my dad would love me to mention that his time up Sacalobra is still faster than mine. So, you know, don't think that it's always me shepherding him. Definitely goes both ways. Top of the Bwlch-y-Groes. It was truly bleak riding up there with these gusts. It's not constantly windy, and then sometimes it's just a 40-mile-an-hour headwind trying to knock you off. So yeah, very slow, very gusty. Fun though. So this is a bit of a funny feature that you go up to the top of the Bwlch-y-Groes, but then you have to descend just a little bit to take a left turn to go where we want to go, which is down Llyn, Vyrnwy. And this road is lovely. It's a really nice sort of bit of scenery, but the surface varies from quite nice, which you can see now, to the crappiest road surface there's ever been and might break your rims, your forks, or your chainstays, depending on how you hit potholes. But it is worth it. It's absolutely worth it. You descend it cautiously. Maybe treat it like a gravel descent at times. I've included shots of this because I was hoping you'd be able to see the massive reservoir up ahead of us, but you can't really, which is a shame. It looks wild! So choppy! Yeah, it could. See how this shot comes out, it might be my thumbnail. So another bonus climb, and I'm afraid you'll have to put up with an awful lot of waffle on the road from me. I really thought this stuff was interesting. I'm just chatting as shit. So as I go up this climb, I would call it Hirnant reverse, because the river next to me is Abergeirw, and climbing the other way is called Hirnant. The positives I want to pitch to you, dear viewer, are, I think, spring. In springtime is the UK at its best. In summer, in the height of summer, So that absolute drivel of chat aside, it's a really nice bit of road. The Strava segment for this is called Harry Potter Scenery, because it does feel almost like you end up in the Forbidden Forest at a certain point. Obviously it's more touristy than a lot of the places we've ridden. You can see people out and about. I actually called that white car a knobhead because they were blasting dance music, and I thought, like, it's the countryside. I haven't come here to listen to your terrible music. Just, anyway. Me being an old man aside, look at these great views. Very nice. I've got my arms and legs out at this point, properly enjoying the sunshine. You can't beat that blue sky feeling. Feeling unencumbered by heavy winter clothing. Lovely winding bit of road, up and down, nice rivers. What a spot. This, on the Backpedal ride, is really where it started falling apart, unfortunately, with the snow and the groups completely split and everyone was getting cold and tired. And it couldn't have been more different today.
Hello. I hadn't really planned what I was going to say, but it's a good backdrop, so I better say something. Nice day. Good ride. Hard. I'm so crap at cycling at the moment. I don't know why, I just feel like I'm training harder and getting weaker. But how can you not enjoy being on the bike on a day like this, even if all my times are crapo?
My dear friend and genuine role model Phil Lovett said that the horrible road we did before was the second best descent of the day, and respectfully, Phil, I disagree. This is the second best descent on this ride. This is Hirnant Pass, and when it's not snowing, and I did include some rear view footage of this on my last video where you couldn't see a thing for the weather. On a day like this, this is an incredible descent. On a day like this is an incredible climb as well, I should say, but obviously we didn't do that. But the descent is top level because you can see the whole road ahead of you. It's technical enough in that it's windy and that it's relatively steep at times, but it's a well enough used road that there's no crap and there's not really many potholes, but you can see that it's quiet enough. Even on this day when there's tourists around, we really didn't see much traffic, and if there is traffic, like I say, you can see it about a mile ahead. That's not an exaggeration. Genuinely, you can see about a mile down the road, so you know if there's a car coming. So it's a really enjoyable descent to ride. You can really get stuck into it. So I wish I'd been able to show you this on a better day. This piece of road right here is where I had to feed Ian flapjack because he was getting hypothermic and bonking. It's unbelievable how different it looks in the sunshine. And now we bobble along this river, Avon Hirnant, all the way to Bala. This piece of road is stunning. I said it last time, I'll say it this time. It's beautiful. Tea, coffee. My favourite cafe in Bala. It's a handy place for a cafe stop. And the food was quite good. I've not had a sandwich. Have you been in?
Not yet, but it looks good.
Good. So Bala's sort of 2/3 of the way around, but the two hard bits are done now. So it's a bit of a roll back to Llan over my favourite road after refuelling. What a lovely day. Rolling along with Cwm Teigl, Wales' largest natural lake, to my left, and that's Abergeirw, the mountain that Bwlch-y-Groes goes up in the distance there. You can see all of it because it's nice and sunny. That very short clip of road I included there, you can see some lovely rock formations in the distance, but they've not really come out, I'm afraid. Now we are climbing up to my favourite road on earth with those 17% signs. This is like the unnamed road that starts at Dolgellau caravan site and goes over the mountain ranges of the Arenigs region of Snowdonia. Here you can see waterfalls in the distance. Of course it doesn't come out on the camera, but they're lovely waterfalls. And the beautiful thing about this road is it holds no secrets. It snakes up and down a mountain. Again, it's a triple crest, but it's about 200 metres of elevation at a time, over 10 miles, that's like 16k. And you can always see the best part of 2 or 3k ahead of you of this road just snaking through the moorland. Snowdonia can be broken up into smaller mountain ranges, so I've talked about the Vyrnwy mountains before. And in the very north, there's the Carneddau, for example. And I get a bit nerdy about understanding and naming each of them. But anyway, this is the Arenigs sub-region of Snowdonia, if you're interested. And for my money, it's where some of the best cycling is, because it's largely untouched by the sort of tourism that means people with families come in big cars and park up all over the side of the road. You know, nothing wrong with that. I'm not criticising people who want to go and visit Snowdon for the day, but to me it ruins the cycling. Whereas look at this road snaking behind me and my dad, not a car in sight. I think it's 14 miles long and we saw one car along here. It's absolute perfection for the cyclist who wants their own space. And I couldn't film these rear view shots of the other ride, and I hope they add something for you to get a feel for quite what this landscape is like. I could rave about this all day. I know how boring it is, but it's just, it never stops giving, this road. I think I could ride it 100 times and I would feel a sense of awe every time we do it. There were buzzards and red kites circling. I didn't film any of them for invisible bird watching with Nick, but yeah, I promise you they were invisibly there. Nice little river meandering behind us too. And then as we come down the top of the Arenigs there, you can see the view of the Vyrnwy. This little bridge and river valley, no idea what they are, but it's really pretty. I would have stopped for a load of photos there if we had time. I've done that before. And you'll start to recognise this now. We're coming back down to Llyn with some very nice views over to the Moelwyn range of Snowdonia. I hope it's clear before that I wasn't calling that lady a knobhead. She was the only cyclist we saw all day, which blows my mind, and she'd done like 180k or something. I took my dad up this road as an alternative route to not doing a hill, and I did tell him that I didn't know if it was steep or not, and my god, were we in for a shock. There's a proper brown bill bonus there. And now we're coming to the end of the day. So on the Backpedal ride, we rolled into Llan-Festiniog where our cars were parked, and lots of people hadn't done Stwlan Dam climb, which is a beautiful climb, and if you haven't watched that video, mine or Phil's, then, you know, do and see how lovely Stwlan is. But I said to my dad, that's where we ended last time, why don't we change it up and we come and do a different climb that starts in Llan-Festiniog rather than being like a 4-kilometre ride out. And actually that was a lie. Just because the road starts in Llan doesn't mean the climb does. And it probably is a 4-kilometre climb out. So anyway, this is Cwm Teigl. I've done a hill climb video of it where I don't edit at all, and you can see the whole set of scenery. But my god, is it something else. It is prehistoric looking scenery. It's beautiful scenery. And I've edited a lot of it here because, you know, if you want to see the whole thing, please do go and watch the other video, and I love it. And in many ways I'd say it's my favourite climb in all of the world at the moment. Is that too bold? Maybe that's too bold. I've got rose tinted glasses because it's one of the most recent ones I've done, but it's unbelievable and no one knows about it. You know, North Welsh cyclists don't know about it. It's so secret. Stwlan's amazing, but Stwlan is, you know, pretty popular. You'll get people in London who know Stwlan Dam climb. You'll get people in Wrexham who don't know this is here. You'll get people in Festiniog who don't know this is here, which for me makes it really special. Even if it is really tough. Well, welcome guys to the end of another ride in the beautiful Snowdonia National Park. This is a climb I've not shown you guys before. I took Phil Lovett up here, but he didn't come all the way to the top with me. This is called Cwm Teigl. I just put in a very poor showing because once again, absolute howler of a headwind all the way up this climb. Plus, I'm not very good at the moment. My dad is on his way up soon, and despite all that, it's been fantastic day. What a place. I can't do anything but love it here. The area I'm in now is quite different to kind of unspoiled Snowdonia bits that I've shown other people. This is very much the industrial heritage of Snowdonia of North Wales, Slate. And this is still a functional quarry, that's why there's a road up to it. But there's many more closed, so there's a little bit of history. Yeah, good day out. I'm going to go back down, see where my dad is. I'll see you all soon. Maybe I've got a bit hard on this, putting more descent footage in, considering there's a whole other video and you just had the climb, but I really think it's some of the best picturesque scenery I got all day. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Anyway guys, it kind of feels like it's coming to an end because that was the end of the final climb, but then I've somehow managed to waffle for what seems to be another 5 or so minutes at the end of this. So, you know, if at any point you get bored, I won't be offended. I'm not a big enough video maker to care about YouTube metrics, but I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope I've managed to present this area of Snowdonia to you in a different light to the snowing, really challenging conditions that we were met with last time. I promise, it's like this more than you'd think. I know we joke about it being miserable and rainy and cold in Wales, but I've had so many rides like this. They do happen. Come and give it a go yourselves. I really recommend it.
Hi everyone, I'm recording this like at the end of a Thursday night TTT because when I got the time, but I thought I'd go through the ride I did with my dad, the repeat, if you like, of this Backpedal Southern Loop. Very different day out to when we did it with Backpedal, but I'll just do my very quick kind of Strava summary of what went on. 141.91 kilometres. It's a long day out and 3,200 metres of elevation. It was hard, again, a hard ride and a hard weighted average. The route looks very similar. So the Backpedal one was longer. It was like 15k longer because of going to Llyn, and there were a couple of little roads that I did differently with my dad because we had this like a joyous realisation of we're just here to enjoy it. The Backpedal one, I had to pack as much elevation in as I could because we were trying to do a set number of like vertical meters, and on the way into Dol, I said to my dad, we don't have to do that. Like, there's this hill here, which is a perfectly nice hill, but if you keep following this river valley down, which is what we did, it's a nicer road, it's picturesque, and it's downhill. So there's a few bits like that where I said, we can just do what we want, we'll just go the nice way. And it was lovely. In terms of the climbs, there's absolutely nothing to shout about. Everything was slower because it was quite hilly, quite windy, which was hard. My heart rate, I think, is the thing that will be way lower. If I have a look on the analysis. Yeah, average heart rate 137, max 175. Let's see what it was like on the Backpedal ride. Oh, sorry, flapping around here. Average 155, max 187. That's insane. So yeah, overall, me and my dad had a really nice day out. We were knackered. The main difference was this ending on Cwm Teigl, and if you've not seen my video on the Cwm Teigl climb, I'd really recommend watching it because, controversially, you see, we ended going up Llyn, and it's a very similar climb in terms of profile, but couldn't be more different in terms of the actual experience of riding it. So
That's the end of my video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and there might be a little extra bit that I filmed on the ride after this. I really recommend not watching it if you're not asked about the history of Wales. So yeah, thank you very much. See you in the next one.
Round our viewers. Thank you all for watching this video. And if you're not interested in a bit of a self-indulgent monologue that might be a bit judgy or a bit preachy or a bit political, not too political, please feel free to switch off now. I won't be at all offended. I'm sincerely grateful to you for watching, and this might not be anyone's cup of tea, but I felt like I need to say it. If you're still watching after that caveat, thank you. Diolch. This is the shore of Cap Llyn, and I drive past this every time I come to cycle in Snowdonia. This used to be the village of Trawsfynydd, and every time I drive past it I think about this as an Englishman. Trawsfynydd was a Welsh-speaking settlement, a small village with farming land around here, which in the 1960s Liverpool City Council compulsory purchased from the residents for not much money and not much adequate replacement land, and they flooded it to make this lake because they said the city of Liverpool needed drinking water. Now, for those of you thinking, isn't Liverpool a city in England and Trawsfynydd is a village in Wales? Yes and yes, and it's widely considered the move that triggered the Welsh nationalist movement. I'm not here to say whether I support Welsh nationalism or not. I'm not here to judge English people, but every time I drive past this I think about me as an Englishman driving into Wales, seeing all of this and loving it and thinking I'm taking something. Every time I come here I'm taking an experience. I'm using the roads, I'm using the facilities. Apologies, Llyn Trawsfynydd Visitor Centre, I had a poo and I didn't buy anything. And what I want to say is I want to be conscientious and respectful of the real modern community in Wales, and every time I come here and take something I want to give something back as well. So all I wanted to get off my chest was my thoughts about me encouraging people to come to Snowdonia, come and ride your bikes here, experience it. But as you do, have a think about the fact that people live here, people speak a language here that isn't English, that didn't die out on its own, right? It was systematically eradicated and lives on. So when you come, you don't need to, I'm not saying you need to be spending loads of money or paying people's way. Just when we're taking something like an experience, let's give something back, like respect. I will make more of an effort to use the Welsh names for things. I will make more of an effort when I come here, if I book, to not use Airbnb owned by some people in London, but support Welsh businesses. That was what I wanted to say on the shores of Trawsfynydd. So cofiwch Trawsfynydd, and thank you for an excellent day out in Wales again. It's nice, isn't it?